Greetings, mine fellow fanatics of the world. You are speaking with Gfanatic 94 and my right-hand man, the Iron Noah.
Hello.
And yeah, guys. Today is our first official video of 2024, and we are starting off with a fucking doozy. Um, yeah, guys. Don't be surprised if it just comes off as though we're trying to start an internet war. We're not, but it's gonna seem like it. Um. Noah, do you want to explain this, or do you want me to? The
You're the lead man
controversy.
here.
What's up?
You're the lead man here, so all
Okay.
hands on deck.
Yep. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, ever since the Godzilla and Kong The New Empire trailer has come out, I have seen, and thankfully there's plenty of people supporting this design, but I have seen so much fucking hate for Godzilla's new look and appearance in this movie that it's honestly kind of sad. People, okay,
Yeah.
so let's just say what these haters of the GXK design are saying. They're saying that Godzilla doesn't look cool or menacing in pink, which, considering the fact that he's already had pink dorsal fins in the past, is just completely nullifies their argument. Um, and more so than that, one thing that has honestly kind of gotten me offended is the simple fact that people, because he's got pink dorsal fins now, are calling him a trans.
And that's the part that really pisses me off.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say this off the bat here, ladies and gentlemen. Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, Godzilla's look. First of all, we're gonna see him normally in the movie, maybe. But honestly, I want to cool anyone's jets right now. Godzilla will never be a transgender. Okay? And let me tell you why. Toho and the entirety of Japan as a whole is strictly anti-trans. So, trust me when I tell you guys that Godzilla will never be a transgender, because if they ever do that, well, let's just fucking say that America will never get another chance at a Godzilla movie again. So, for anyone who's worried that they did make him a tranny in the next movie, cool your jets. It's nothing more than them paying homage to the 1999 and 2000 Godzilla design. That's all it is. They're not implying that Godzilla is going to metamorphose into a fucking female. Because straight up, if
Going,
that was the case, Toho would be ripping Godzilla away from us in a fucking heartbeat.
yeah, if that was the case, we would not be getting Godzilla X Con. That shit would be canceled
Yeah. Yeah,
faster
no,
than
the second. What's up?
faster than the Flash can change his suit. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no. Straight up, guys. Don't worry about Godzilla being a trans in the next movie. It's not gonna happen, because if it ever did, Toho would fucking slander us. And they would fucking rip Godzilla away before we could even say the phrase wet pussy. Alright?
Yeah. That's the honest truth there, because
Yeah. Because yeah,
Toho.
people tend to forget about that shit. The people tend to forget that Japan is anti-trans. So yeah,
And
it's
also,
just worth pointing that out.
and not only that, Toho can be somewhat strict with their own characters,
Yeah.
especially Godzilla.
Oh yeah. You don't fuck with Toho's moneymaker, they will fucking destroy you and your life. Matthew Broderick figured
Yeah,
that
that's
out the hard way.
we are definitely lucky that Legendary was even able to buy the rights for Mothra, Ghidorah, and Rodan and Mechagodzilla for those movies, and one of the probably main reasons why we haven't been able to see any other of those kaijus since then.
That's actually gonna change in this new one. Mothra's coming back.
Oh yeah, Mothra, yeah. But the other kaiju's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is an
So
absolute fucking bitch to try and get the rights to make these characters. So, once again, one final time, don't worry about them making Godzilla transgender because first of all, it's never going to happen, and second of all, if y'all are still worried about it, I don't know what to tell you because that leads us into the discussion of why the fuck is it so wrong for Godzilla had to have pink dorsal plates?
let me think about it. Hmm. I can't find an answer to that. I really can't.
There is no problem with that. Okay, so I
Yeah.
want to point this out. I like the new design. I really do. And well, this actually coincides with the next video we're going to be recording too. But me personally, I think the two best designs of Godzilla we got in the MonsterVerse so far are this design and the first time we saw him in the MonsterVerse in 2014. I think those two are the best in the whole series so far, and simply put, I like them because they're unique and entertaining as fuck. So, yeah, I
And
don't have a
well,
problem with
speaking of
Godzilla having.
uniqueness, and speaking of uniqueness, because definitely in this up in 2024's Legendary, his newest design is definitely unique,
Oh fuck yeah,
especially with his body proportions. Especially with his body proportions.
right. And well, okay, so I'll be the first to admit I'm not gonna sit here and outright say that the Godzilla design is perfect in this movie because me personally, I do kind of think his legs are a little bit too skinny. But
Oh,
at
yeah.
the same time, I honestly don't mind that because if you look at GXK's Godzilla fucking like on a straight on angle, his lower body proportions kind of somewhat resemble Final Wars in kind of an unironic way. So, yeah, I'm totally cool with that too. And just like that, the one complaint I had about this design is thrown out the fucking window. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically, it's just bye bye.
yeah. And I don't know like have you seen the rumors that he has thagomizers?
Yes, I have, but and the thing is, um, I mean, it's hard to notice in the trailer, but from the toy leaks, it definitely seems like he does.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those who don't know what a thagomizer is, for those who are confused as to what the fuck we're talking about, a thagomizer is what you call the spikes at the end of a stegosaurus's tail. Yeah, it's basically just the spikes that you see at the end of a stegosaurus's tail, except in Godzilla's case, they can light up with atomic energy, and I'm assuming they're a hell of a lot sharper. So basically,
Yeah, yeah,
Godzilla is
yeah.
just the fucking super evolved stegosaurus at this point.
I mean, hell, if we're thinking about it, the original Goji was said to literally be a mix of a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a Stegosaurus.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but you know
And
what? I'm fine with that because I'm genuinely fine with that because that's cool. You
yeah,
know, in my mind, I think that's even more of a little homage to not only Meyer Goji, but also to the first movie, to where they do say that.
yeah, yeah. That's like I said, this design is one of my favorites in the entirety of the MonsterVerse. I don't know which one I prefer, this new design or 2014. So, uh, that's honestly going to be kind of awkward coming up for what we got planned for Godzilla's birthday this year. I'll tell you about that here in a bit, Noah. Um, so yeah, Noah. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get on to the main points of this video. You're gonna go first since I've been leading the conversation so far. You're gonna go first. What do you like about GXK's design, and where do you think, if anywhere, they could make any improvements?
Okay, well, first of all, I immediately have to say this. I love his dorsal spines.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the main factors I always like of a Godzilla design is their dorsal spines, because in my mind, it's like it's like a lion's mane. Let's say that.
Right, it's a way to show off their personality.
Yes, because if we look at previous Godzilla designs, we have Showa era. His dorsal spines are smaller compared to some others, but also more. What's a word you can say for Showa? His dorsal spines are more of like more less in the way, lets him be a lot more nimble, not having to worry about all that weight on his back.
Okay.
And it definitely speaks to him, like with his more brawler
More
esque fighting
maneuverable.
style.
More maneuverable.
And that also speaks true for Final Wars. Compared to some other Godzillas, his dorsal spines are small, and we saw how fucking fast he's moving.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And GMK, his dorsal spines are more chaotic and core-like, speaking true to his more complex inner self with all those ghosts, making
Right.
him crazy, basically.
Yeah.
And then, basically, yeah, just in general, dorsal spines to me speak a lot of the Godzilla himself. And with a whole model of legendary Godzilla's evolution prospect, where we see in 2014 that while yes, they're simple in idea, but they get the idea across very well, and it speaks to him being his own thing. They're balanced basically. They're even. They're balanced, and that speaks to Godzilla himself. To he's a bringer of balance. And then in 2019, they basically after the events of the Muda Prime, and they of course get shattered, and then they regrow further, but then in a new form, further implying the whole thing of evolution. And now in this movie, they once again changed to imply his new power in the further ferocity that this Godzilla is going to show.
Yeah. And I do want to point this
'Cause-
out too. I do want to point this out too. The idea that you're talking about evolution could very well come into effect with his atomic breath because as we see in the GIF up here, let me go ahead. For now, anyways, it appears as though Godzilla's atomic breath is going to be the same color as his dorsal fins, but we don't know if it's going to stay that way throughout the whole movie. For all we know,
yeah,
Godzilla could get this evolution and then all of a sudden he fucking doesn't really know how to fully harness the power of his atomic breath, but then once he learns, his dorsal fins are pink, but his atomic breath could be orange.
yeah, because if we look at the GIF below, that definitely seems that charge up is taking a little longer, especially compared to the other times we see him using his atomic breath. Because that very well be maybe the first time he's using it. Like, especially if you listen to the trailer and you hear all that crackling and
Yeah,
energy buildup. And especially the way he looks behind as his atomic breath charges up. He's like, oh, baby, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Another point that you brought up the first time when we took a look at this trailer is the fact that he just got this power. He might not be in the right state of mind. So,
Yeah, and like I said before too, with his whole dorsal spines, and then implied with evolution, that how now, to contrast with the other dorsal spines he's had, they are a lot sharper, a little more chaotic too, which might imply he's gonna be fighting a lot more fiercely and just
yeah,
throw a lot more
actually,
ferocity in the mix. Especially
uh,
like, look, I'm going back to the whole thing like with the dorsal spines. Like in 2014, they are a lot more calm. They are like his dorsal planes are a lot more calm. They're basically balanced in the whole sense. And his G14 at that time, he fights more like a bear, more like a real animal, which you could find and believable. And then in 2019, where they're bigger and more a little
robust.
more chaotic a little bit, I guess. But
Yeah.
of course, taking that they were made in to fuck, I'm messing up my words, but they were made in inspiration from his G54 look. But these being bigger and more outward, we do see that his whole fighting style is a lot more. It's faster. It's more
Yeah.
furious. And now, of course, as we see his new dorsal plates a lot sharper, more chaotic, he's gonna probably fight a lot more furiously,
S-
especially with his new body build.
So you're thinking that the dorsal fins are not only displaying his personality, but they're displaying how powerful and how powerful he is, and what his fighting style may indicate.
Yes, that's again. I say this again. The main thing I like about Godzilla designs is their dorsal plates, because as I said before, they show a lot of their own personality.
Yeah, and I do want to point this out too. What you're saying about Godzilla's dorsal fins and the personality. A perfect example of this: Godzilla minus one.
Oh
I
yeah,
know
definitely.
I know it feels a little bit cheap and a little bit of a cop out for me to be going based off of one of the newest movies. It feels a little lazy, but guys, Godzilla minus one, shit, if you do it right, you do it right. Godzilla minus one's dorsal plates signified that kind of Godzilla perfectly. He is fucking psychotic, he's evil, and his dorsal fins make him look like a fucking demon. Like,
And even then, like if we do, of course, Godzilla's minus one's design is definitely its own design, but it's definitely inspired from Heisei because minus one is basically a modernized Heisei look. And if we go back to Heisei's dorsal spines, they're big. They're at that point of time, and back in the 90s and 80s, they were definitely the biggest dorsal spines he's had. Which, well, yes, and they were also smooth. Well, not smooth, but they were more rounded, implying that he's not just a destructive monster, but definitely carrying us as to the fact that he literally adopted Godzilla Jr.
yeah,
He has his own mentality, like he can either be a destructive monster or fight to protect. So basically, he's an anti hero, and his dorsal plates do show that. They are big, which does imply his own significant power, but they're not too chaotic, but they're still grounded, yet give the sense that he could be a malevolent creature.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And dude, you just reminded me of something. Back in the Heisei series, Godzilla's dorsal fins kept relatively the same like sort of look up until 1995 where they changed colors, and that could have very possibly been a storytelling aspect that they used to signify that one, Godzilla's going to die, and two, that since that particular Godzilla had never been a hero in the past, well, now that that's changed, it's literally killing him.
Yeah, like I said again before, and again I will say it now, the dorsal plates of a Godzilla can very well just signify what kind of Godzilla they are.
Yeah.
And especially if we look in the Millennium era where
Oh fuck,
all the
I
dorsal
knew you were going to
plates,
bring this up. Continue.
yeah, like all the Godzillas there, all their dorsal plates, well, mine except for Final Wars, they all are more chaotic and sharp. And besides Final Wars, where he was more of an anti-hero, in all of those Godzilla movies, and maybe of course except for Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, maybe he was shown to be a antagonist for a most part until a bigger threat showed up because he was not the hero or anti-hero Godzilla. He was coming out to destroy buildings.
Right.
He was
And that's
going to
exactly how it
destroy.
was in Godzilla versus Megaguirus too.
Yeah,
The dorsal fins of Meyer Goji, one could argue that the dorsal fins of Meyer Goji, since Meyer Goji seems to use a lot more strategy in his battles, one could argue that his dorsal fins reflect like complex thought process.
yeah, exactly. In like both Meyer and Kiryugoji all both have very unique dorsal plates, but while still being unique, they're also chaotic and sharp, basically.
Yeah.
And in all four of those movies, which both of them appeared in, they weren't treated as a hero. They were still basically the antagonist of the film, especially in the Kiryu Saga movies.
Yeah.
Godzilla was always the big bad.
Well, no. Okay, so that was for Godzilla Tokyo SOS. In Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, there was no real antagonist. that Godzilla was just a victim of circumstance, and Kiryu was the main hero, Kiryu and Akane.
Yeah, but for the
I
most
know
part,
that. I know that's besides the point, but you called out my boy. I had to correct you on that one.
yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, basically for the most part in those films, they put Godzilla in the role of the antagonist.
Yeah.
And those dorsal plates do reflect that with how
Yes, they
chaotic
do.
and sharp they are. And especially, of course, as I said before, GMK's more chaotic and coral like dorsal spines.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do quite enjoy and love these new dorsal pla- dorsal plates for legendary Godzilla because it just also shows his evolution and the evolving style of how he fights.
Yeah.
And another theory I have, because for all the trailers, including the toys, we see that they're glowing, right?
Yeah.
But and from the lore bases and from what we know of legendary Godzilla, his dorsal plates will glow as an intimidation display. So that pink glow or those pink dorsal plates could very well be just him always in an intimidation state.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
from the
Actually,
charge
I didn't even take that into account. You're totally right. Fuck.
yeah, because the thing is, I'm looking at his charge up scene because I don't just see pink, I see white. So perhaps when he's
Yeah.
not in an intimidation state, his dorsal plates could very much be a bone white, which I would love to see.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, fuck, Noah. You just got me
Yeah,
so much
look,
more hyped for this movie.
yeah, because like look at his dorsal plates in the charge up scene. Do you see that bone white in there with the crackling of the pink hue?
Yeah.
So very
Yeah,
much be
I can somewhat see it.
so he's just so, like you might have said before, this power up might be temporary, and he could still go back to his blue hue with just with a new body.
Me personally, I hope not, but I can talk about that in my segment.
Yeah,
So,
but it is a possibility because from what we know of Godzilla in the Legendary verse, he's definitely always have an intimidation display. That's where he would normally light up, and of course, his atomic breath.
yeah.
So this from all the trailers and scenes and toys, because the toys, of course, do sometimes reflect him in a atomic breath charge up scene, and some of toys, of course, being in his normal state. But for the most part, a lot of the toys have him with his blue dorsal plates, especially in GVK. He could very much end up without the intimidation display, be in his new form with bone white dorsal plates, which I am a sucker for. I love his more white dorsal plates to contrast his black body.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down for that.
One of the many reasons why, of course, I love the Kirigoji design is because he does have those silver bone white dorsal plates to contrast his body.
Right, he's got the classic color scheme.
Yes, and also another reason why I do love Meyer Goji design is because he's unique and has different colored dorsal spines.
All right, I
One
got
of
you.
the main reasons I also love Godzilla vs. Destroyer, his dorsal spines are a different color from him. Well, for the
Yeah.
most part. Because I
Well,
always love when
pretty
they
much, yeah.
give Godzilla, like, I do love that he's not all just gray or black or green. He has different colors to him. Like, yeah, basically, again, as I said, his Godzilla's dorsal plates are a male lion's mane. So
Indeed.
yeah. That's why I'm definitely coming to love this new look for legendary Goji,
All right.
because it just gives them so much more color, basically.
Well,
Because
I'll admit, when I first watched the trailer, I was kind of put by it. I was like, we'll see how this goes. But then as I continued watching the trailer, I was like, this looks fucking good. So,
while yes, I my one of my favorite colors is blue, so I do love the blue atomic breath, but I do love them finally and actually giving Godzilla more than just his blue look. One of the many reasons why the 2014 look was favorited over the 2019/2021 look, because it's basically his own look. It's legendary Godzilla, a brand new Godzilla, but then of course in G19, which I don't mind at all. I still like the design. They opted for a more iconic look with the dorsal plates, with
A
the being a
classic
little
look.
more chaotic. Yeah, classic look. Which again, I very much like because I do like the more chaotic dorsal plates. As you can obviously tell, I keep mentioning the Millennium era.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I basically went an entire talk about just the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So, no, you go ahead, man.
Well,
You,
bro,
it's
I'm
kind of
telling you right now,
been.
my segment's not going to be nearly as long as yours. All
Yeah,
right,
so
so,
yeah, go ahead and talk, man.
all right. Well, first things first, fuck, I cannot get enough of these. This is the first time I'm ever eating taquitos. Oh, it's delicious. All right, back on topic. So, with Noah's explanation for why he loves the new design out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my opinion on the new design. Like I said, when I first watched the trailer, I was a little off put by it because I thought that the main reason I was off put is because I thought they were going for like a red spiral ray kind of look. And then Noah pointed it out thinking that it was going to be like a permanent change for Godzilla, which me personally, I hope this is a personal change for Godzilla because once again, like we said at the beginning of the video, this is not transgender Godzilla. If they ever tried to make Godzilla a tranny, then Japan would fucking destroy our hopes and dreams and take Godzilla away from us forever. Um, so yeah, don't worry about that. But the more I watched the trailer, the more I was like, okay, I'm digging this. And first of all, I like this new Godzilla design. And no, I'm not saying I like it just because one of my favorite dinosaurs is a Stegosaurus, and oh, he has Thagomizers now. Oh, fuck off. Um, no, I like this new Godzilla design because just like 2014, it's unique and it's badass. It's unmistakably Godzilla, but it's also Godzilla in a way we haven't really seen him before. So, I'm all down for this. And one of the main reasons why I'm actually kind of pissed about the people who are talking shit about this Godzilla design on the internet is this has been done before, so why the fuck is it a problem now? Y'all are complaining about GXK's new look because of his pink dorsal fins, even though back in 1999 Godzilla had pink dorsal fins and orange atomic breath, and also in the follow-up film Godzilla 2000 where he fought Megaguirus. And then in 2016, he had purple atomic breath. Shin Godzilla had purple atomic breath. So why the
Mhm.
fuck it's all of a sudden a problem now is beyond me. I personally think it's just a bunch of American quote unquote Godzilla fans who aren't actually Godzilla fans, but they want something to talk about that weekend. So they decided to talk shit about a Godzilla design. Uh so yeah, that's mainly what I think the people are who are complaining about Godzilla's fucking dorsal fins. I think they're just not even Godzilla fans. I think they're just people who are pretending to be Godzilla fans so they could strike up a conversation one day. Um
Mm.
but honestly, man, I have absolutely no problems with this design. I love how spiky the face is. I love how fucking just menacing he looks with his eyes glowing up when he's about to shoot his atomic breath. And more so than that, you know me. I don't give a fuck what the character looks like as long as it's a good story. Me personally,
Mm.
I'm gonna save most of my major judgments for this Godzilla depiction until after the movie comes out so I can know exactly how he looks and how he goes through the story. Because, straight up, if it was up to me, And if it was up to me and I was trying to figure out a way for Godzilla to go into his next evolution into Pinkzilla, fucking, I would have had it be where at the end of Godzilla versus Kong, when Godzilla got his ass kicked by Mechagodzilla, I would personally have had Godzilla be like, okay, don't want that to happen again. I'm going to go take a nap for a few years in a place that has some special energy. And when I wake up, that shit is never going to happen to me again. It's better than them
Mm.
just giving Godzilla a random power up for the sake of plot. So,
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, with the new scenes of Godzilla in Europe, he's definitely in his King of the Monsters design slash GVK. So again, in the
King of the
whole
Monsters design, he is not fat enough to be from GVK.
yeah, well, yeah, but yeah, we do see that we're probably going to get both of his designs, both old and new.
Yeah,
So maybe whatever the plot is, we'll just have to find out when the movie comes out.
yeah. But yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the new Godzilla design. I fucking love it. And quite frankly, I'm just I'm just not even gonna take seriously anymore any of the people who complain about this design. With that being said, Noah, um, the GXK design as a Godzilla, as a look for Godzilla, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Honestly, again, I love his dorsal plates, and like you said too, I love how fucking spiky he is, especially around towards the face.
Yep.
So in my I don't know if I want to give it a 10 out of 10 because there's some other designs I do still love a lot more.
Yeah.
But with his new design, it's definitely up there. So probably a 9 out of 10 at least.
All right. Well, for me, brother, I'm gonna go ahead and give this design for Godzilla the same design. I just realized we're fucking rating a Godzilla design. Oh fuck. Okay. No, 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 nothing to it but to do it now. I'm gonna go ahead and give. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give GXK's new design the same rating I give the 2014 design, a 9 out of 10. I fucking love the way he looks in this movie, and I think that, quite frankly, dude, this is. I think that the Monsterverse may be gearing up to prove me the fuck wrong. Cause if you remember back when we did our Godzilla-thon, I said that the only way they could really that they could only fucking revitalize the Monsterverse is either A, to kill Godzilla and Kong, or B, to just rewrite the Monsterverse as a whole and completely forget about King of the Monsters slash fucking um to completely forget about King of the Monsters slash GVK. I have a feeling the Monsterverse is gearing up to prove me the fuck wrong, and I could not be happier about that.
Hmm.
So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. And yeah, guys, that's been it for today. See you later with our next major monster discussion.
Where you going? There you go.